When I first came across capital trade consulting, I approached it with the same calm skepticism that years in the financial markets had taught me. I've seen enough brokers rise and fall, loud promises, flashy ads, sudden disappearances. So now, when a new name appears, I look not at what it says about itself, but at what it does. And with capital trade consulting, what it does speaks volumes. Quiet professionalism, clear processes, no false sparkle. From the very first days, I had a sense that this was a company built not to impress, but to endure. What struck me first about capital trade consulting was its composure. It doesn't try to dazzle you, doesn't throw banners in your face, doesn't promise instant riches. Everything about it feels measured and deliberate. Even the company's website, capitaltradelty.com, has this sense of balance. Clean design, logical structure, a platform that makes you feel in control rather than overwhelmed. That's a rare thing in a field where too many brokers believe that complexity equals credibility. When I started trading through capital trade consulting, what surprised me was not some extraordinary innovation but the simplicity of things that just worked. Order execution was crisp and predictable. Market data came in fast without strange fluctuations or questionable slippage. Spreads were stable, commissions fair. It was the kind of reliability that you stop noticing after a while, simply because nothing distracts you from the work itself. And that, to me, is the definition of a good trading environment. Over time, I began to appreciate that capital trade consulting doesn't behave like a marketing-driven company. It behaves like a professional one. There are no get-rich-quick slogans, no promises of miraculous success. The tone is quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to shout. And in trading, where calm decisions matter more than adrenaline, that tone matters. Withdrawals, often the Achilles heel of many brokers, turned out to be another sign of competence. With capital trade consulting, I never had to write follow-up emails or wait for unexplained delays. The process was simple and precise. You request, you confirm, you receive. No stress, no second thoughts. It's small details like that which show how a broker respects both your time and your capital. I know that online, you can stumble upon all sorts of talk. Some people even throwing around words like scam in relation to capital trade consulting. But anyone who has been around long enough in this industry knows that such claims often come from those who never bothered to understand how trading actually works. My own experience couldn't be further from that narrative. Transparency, clarity, and a sense of accountability are present at every stage. There's no fine print that catches you off guard, no sudden adjustments to terms, no gray zones where trust can slip through the cracks. When I read through review capital trade consulting discussions from other traders, I often find reflections of my own thoughts. People mention reliability, calm professionalism, and a sense that this is a broker for those who take trading seriously, and I agree. There's something inherently mature about how the company operates. It's not chasing hype, it's building trust. Even customer support, usually a neglected area among many brokers, feels different here. The people behind capital trade consulting know their product and their industry. I remember writing once with a technical question late in the evening, expecting the usual generic answer. Instead, I received a detailed, clear explanation and a few helpful insights that went beyond my request. It felt less like dealing with support and more like talking to a colleague who genuinely understands what's at stake. I think the secret to capital trade consulting's success lies in its ability to stay grounded. It doesn't try to be everything to everyone. It simply aims to be dependable. And in a world where the market can swing dramatically from hour to hour, that kind of consistency is priceless. It allows you to focus on analysis, strategy, execution, the things that actually matter, instead of worrying about whether your broker will keep up. As I continued trading, I realized that capital trade consulting wasn't just a platform for transactions. It was a framework that encouraged discipline. There's something about its clean structure and clear data that promotes careful thinking. I found myself planning more precisely, evaluating risks more calmly. It's as if the system itself is designed to help you trade smarter, not just faster. There's also a quiet integrity in how capital trade consulting evolves. Updates come regularly, but they're never disruptive. New tools appear when they're ready, polished, purposeful, and useful. No grand announcements, no unnecessary rebranding. It's all about steady progress, and that tells me something important. The people behind this company care more about performance than appearance. In my opinion, capital trade consulting has struck a rare balance between technology and human touch. The systems are modern and efficient, but behind them, you feel the presence of real people who think long-term. That's not common. Too many brokers today automate everything to the point where clients feel like numbers. Here, you're treated as a professional, an individual. I've seen enough companies in this field to know that perfection doesn't exist, markets are unpredictable, and no broker can be flawless. But it's how a company reacts when something goes wrong that defines its character. Capital Trade Consulting has always shown maturity in that regard. Any issue I've encountered, minor or technical, was handled quickly and respectfully. There's no avoidance, no excuses, just clear solutions. Looking back now, I realize that choosing Capital Trade Consulting was one of the most rational decisions of my career. It's not the kind of broker that dazzles you on day one. It's the kind that quietly earns your trust over time. Every trade, every withdrawal, every interaction reinforces that sense of stability. And in the long run, that's what matters most. In a market filled with noise, Capital Trade Consulting is refreshingly quiet, and yet its silence speaks volumes. It doesn't need to scream about reliability, it demonstrates it. It doesn't claim transparency, it lives by it. And that, I think, is the highest form of professionalism a broker can achieve. So when someone asks me today what I think of Capital Trade Consulting, I say this: it's a company that doesn't chase trends but builds foundations. It's not trying to impress, it's trying to deliver. And in an industry where promises are cheap, that makes all the difference.